Hello everyone, I'm back with another live video. I labeled this video flexible dieting. I wanted to take a second and kind of go over exactly what flexible dieting really means, because I think that there's some confusion. Usually after check-ins on Mondays, I see that some people have questions, and I'll notice that it's a couple questions that are the same. So I like to kind of just address them, because if a few people ask me those questions, probably more people have the same questions and they're just not asking, but they're curious. So I like to address them so that everyone can kind of get the 411 on the information. So with flexible dieting, I'll have times where, people are plugging it in FitnessPal and they're saying, well, they should be able to go out more and enjoy more and, have more drinks with friends, enjoy dessert more often, have a good quality of life. I just don't want you guys to get confused with the sacrifices that it takes to get in a certain physical condition, to have a certain level of body fat. I don't want you to get that confused with being able to have a high quality of life. So it's one of those balancing acts where you're probably not going to be able to have your cake and eat it to the fullest extent. I like to say that flexible dieting is the best way for you to be able to enjoy foods that you like, but I think that some of us are losing the concept that as females, we don't have that many calories to work with. So more frequently, males can get away with having more fun foods in their diet. I like to go with the 85-15-90-10 rule, that 10 or 15% of your calories, your total calories for the day, can come from treats. Now, if you're a female and you're on a 1,500 calorie a day diet, that's not a ton of food. That's not a 500 calorie meal. That's not a Lenny and Larry's cookie. You would have to have maybe half the cookie. Some of the proteins, those 10 to 15%, the processed foods, I would say that protein bars are minimally processed. Well, they're definitely completely processed. More minimally processed foods would be like yogurts or milks, those kind of things. But protein bars and those kind of treats that are packaged, they would fall under the category of the 10 to 15%. If you're having drinks, if you're eating out at a restaurant and the nutritional quality, the food there isn't that great. Like if it's fast food, if it's kind of like a quick, easy grab and go, that's like the 10 or 15%. Now, the great thing about flexible dieting is if you do want to add more, if you want to have a day where you're definitely not following that guideline and it's every now and then you're going to kind of like blow your totals on a birthday party, or it's your anniversary, or it's something like that, then that more than likely, that will not hurt you getting to your goal. But if this is, a 3-4 days a week that you're way over the 15%, if every weekend you're eating out, if you're eating out, multiple times a week, sometimes a couple meals are on the go a day, it's going to be really hard for you to hit your goals. And that's not the point of flexible dieting. I feel like people are getting confused and thinking that flexible dieting means putting low quality food in your diet on the regular basis. That's not our goal. What we're gonna do is we're not gonna have just the clean eating foods, which is basically low sodium, no seasoning, just chicken, just ground turkey. With flexible dieting, you could try all different fish. You could add in, cod, halibut, shrimp. Those kind of things were sort of off a strict clean eating meal plan, even if you had an exchange sheet. You can try different vegetables. You can create different sauces. You can just look at the macros on those things so that you can have them in. You could have some whole grains from a different variety. When you're eating clean, usually they say that you can't have anything with gluten in it. If you have a gluten allergy or you have celiacs, then you shouldn't have gluten. But the rest of us, it's okay to have those things. It's okay for you to have bread and pasta and whole grain products. Those would be off of a clean eating plan, but those are incorporated into flexible dieting in a healthy way. Fruits. Typically when I was eating clean on my bodybuilding plan, I would only have berries. Here you can have bananas, you can have mango, you can have pineapple. The options are endless. So I just wanted to touch base on that flexible dieting does not mean cutting out your carbs and fruits, or cutting out your carbs and vegetables, or cutting out your carbs and sweet potato, potatoes, those kinds of things, so that you can fit more fun foods like bars or chocolate or those kind of things on a extremely frequent basis, because ultimately you're going to get more micronutrients, vitamins and minerals, have more energy, feel better. We want to work on our insides too and not just our outsides. So the concept isn't going to be fit as much into your diet that you can that's low quality and see if you can still get amazing results. So now that we know and we have the tools of flexible dieting, when we do go out to eat, we can make more educated choices. We're not in this situation where we're having cheat meals where it's just like an absolute free-for-all when you go out to eat. We're gonna know like, hey, I can order this and that, I can have some flexibility, I can decide to have dessert, I understand eating mindfully, I understand how I can fit those things in. So I wanted to touch base because I do, I'm not the food boss, and you are free to eat anything that you would like to eat, obviously, and that's very empowering about flexible dieting, and that's what I think is very empowering about having a coach that's simply guiding you on your fitness journey and not giving you a meal plan and telling you at 9 a.m. you have to eat 4 ounces of chicken and a cup of broccoli and this much rice, and that's what you'll have at 9. I don't do that. I don't like to micromanage, but what I do is I'm going to help you find the right amounts for you, and I'm going to encourage high quality foods the majority of the time. The purpose isn't to fit in, the junk food, or if you go over your macros and you're not counting, if you're not counting and you had a weekend away or you just kind of ate freely, and you're at a restaurant, you're probably over on your totals, just because a restaurant meal, even if you get like some of the healthiest options that I see with nutrition facts will be like 500 or 600 calories. And if you're eating 4 times a day and you're on 1,500 calories because you're in active fat loss, you could easily go through your food and then you're going to be left really hungry. So every now and then, that's why you'll have something that you're a little off, and that's fine. So that's cool. We talked about the holidays, Thanksgiving, Christmas, that comes up once a year. But if your holiday season, or if you're every weekend you're doing game night and you're having Sunday brunch and you're doing all of these things, and during the whole week you're not having very high quality foods and you're hungry, so by the end of the day you're eating over your macros, or you're adding in something extra, every little thing adds up. So the easiest way to get to your goal, it's like flexible dieting. I saw this in Lane's video when I was watching Lane Norton go grocery shopping. I might do a little grocery store run for you guys so that you can see what I get at the grocery store, because I realized that is of some interest to people. But he had a comment that's amazing, and he said flexible dieting is self-regulating, and that's extremely true. If you're doing it right, if you're using the principle of the 90-10 rule, if you're just using the 10% for your fun foods like protein bars, Halo Top, chocolate, eating out, chips, candy, what else would be some things that we would fill it in? If you're only using it for that 10 or 15% of the time, you're going to be right on track. You could save up, your 10 or 15% if you'd like to have a bigger treat at the end of the week, but it's self-regulating. So if you're hitting your protein total, if you're hitting your fiber totals, you're going to have some of these foods that are really nutritionally dense for you to hit those goals. So I hope that helps, because I do hear a few things thinking flexible dieting is amazing. It makes dieting easier, but it does not make dieting easy. So you're not going to be able, I haven't seen anyone get results on flexible dieting if they weren't planning ahead. I have not seen a single person get results that they want not planning their day in advance. Literally, I've now been doing this. I've been doing this full time now for over a year. Well, I was basically working at the school and doing this full time. And I was doing this for a few years before that. I've never ever seen anyone not plan their week out, not meal prep, and be successful with this. I've also never seen anyone fill in more than 15% of their total daily calories with junk and be successful with it either. So it's something to think about. You want to treat your body right, you want to pick healthy choices, and then you'll know when you're having date night or those kind of things, you'll be able to still have your quality of life. It's easier at maintenance, guys. If you're in active fat loss, you just don't have as much wiggle room. But once you get to maintenance, then you have a little more flexibility with your foods, and with that flexibility with higher macros, you can fit in more fun foods, even though you really, you know, for health reasons, you would want to keep the low quality foods to the 10 or 15%. So I hope that makes sense, because if it seems too good to be true, guys, in health and wellness, it is. So you're gonna have to put in some physical activity. You're gonna have to carve out some time to get that in. You're gonna have to meal prep. You're gonna have to make good, healthy choices for your body. That's how you're gonna see the best results. If you're trying, it's like that saying, you know, you can't cheat the grind. It knows how much you've worked for it. So if you're not changing any of your previous habits, if you're not trying to eat as much nutritionally dense food as you can, curb those cravings with a few sweet treats here and there, but not make that the majority of your day. I don't want the majority of your guys' day to be, you know, whey protein powder or protein type products like protein pancakes, protein bars, protein muffins, those kind of things. I give you guys kind of like quick snack options for on the go in case you're really pressed for time, but you want the center, the core of your nutritional program to be whole, healthy, unprocessed foods. And you want to follow the basic structure of the food pyramid, even though I don't agree with the macro breakdown. I think it's dated and they need to kind of adjust it or have other versions for people who are trying to lower their body fat and not just have a healthy BMI, because you could have a healthy BMI and have a high body fat because that's based just on your weight. So what I think it would help though, you want to go off that guideline and have your fruits, your vegetables, your whole grains, your healthy carbohydrates, your lean meats, and your healthy fats. So keep that in mind when you're setting up your day. What I like to do to plan ahead is I plug in all my protein sources. I try my best to have one source that would be a protein bar or a whey protein powder. Maybe I'd have two, maybe I'd have a protein bar and protein powder, but I try not to go over that. I try not to have protein pancakes, protein bar, protein powders, all those things, because you want to have some lean meats. If you're a vegetarian, obviously this is different and we'd have to have a different conversation. You might have to rely on some of those products, but I'm just saying in a perfect world, if it was optimal, you would have lean meats, fish, eggs, egg whites, those kind of things as your protein sources too, and not just processed foods. So let's keep that in mind this week, okay guys? I hope you have an amazing week. I know that we were still talking about decluttering, and I have still been on a mission to declutter and clean things out. You can invite some of your friends to the group. I hope that this video helped, and I don't want you to ever think that I'm telling you guys what you should or shouldn't eat. I just want to make sure that you have realistic expectations for what flexible dieting can do for you and the amazing things about it, but how you have to use it to make sure that you still see the results that you're going to work so hard for. Okay, guys? Have a really good day. I'll talk to you later.